Well, good afternoon and welcome back again, Realty Pros. As you all know, we are in the midst of transition from .loop to Brokermint as our total office transaction management tool. So for the last 4 weeks or so, we've been going through that transition, and today will be no different. Today, we're going to go over some of the skills that we learned in the last few weeks, and we'll open the floor for you guys to ask specific questions because we want to make sure that everybody has all the tools they need to move forward successfully. Okay, so just as a reminder, as of May 1st, .loop will be going away. So you'll have one total office transaction management tool. You will no longer have to toggle between the two. So all of your transactions from .loop that you've had in the past, you want to make sure to go ahead and upload them into Brokermint, and we'll make sure that you know exactly how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and begin my screen share. Now, we're going to begin from where we left off last week. Last week, we were talking about the listing side, and we went into a live transaction, and this week is no different. This is a live transaction here. So we talked about how to receive offers in the transaction. We talked about how to communicate with agents within that transaction. I'm going to start us out a little bit further back because I want to make sure that for all of our agents who weren't able to join us, you get to start from a little bit earlier in the process, okay? So I'm going to click on Maryland checklist. As you can see, you see the transaction details to the left. Beneath it, you see checklist. And depending on your state and your transaction type, that's the checklist that you'll see beneath it. Beneath that, you see a section that says assets. That's where your documents, offers, so forth and so on are going to be. So I'm going to take us a step back today, and we're going to go to the Maryland checklist. All right. So on the checklist, as you guys see, if you've been going to the Brokermint platform within the last couple of weeks, you'll see quite a number of updates. So we're working on it. We're building out those templates for you. We're building out each one of these tabs, and they are fully functional. So we're about 99% there. So everything that you need by the 1st is going to be 100% with regards to all of your tabs. And what do I mean by that? So your action steps, the things that you have to do. What our goal has been and what we've been able to do is to make sure that anything that you have to do here, such as if you see the second tab that says upload signed listing agreement, when you click on that tab, the listing documents that you need are going to be right there included. So you'll be able to click on those documents from that space. You'll be able to send them for signatures from that space. You'll be able to update, edit, and everything directly from your Brokermint checklist. Okay. So your agency disclosures, anything that you need is going to be right there. Anything that you need to upload in terms of your property disclosures, there's going to be a space for you to update it right there or to upload it right there. So everything is meant to be seamless for you. So it's literally in one place. And even with regards to emailing and submitting them, everything is in this one place. Does anybody have any questions before we dive in? Or does anybody have any suggestions with where you'd like to begin?
Could we begin at the, let's say we have a buyer that's about to submit an offer through Brokermint.
Okay.
Can we start right there?
You sure can. And you know what? I'm very happy that you said that, because what I'm going to do is we're going to go to the offer section. And what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to upload. So go to WhatsApp in just a second, because this link you see right here, what Marcus has recommended that we go through this field, but I want you guys to have firsthand knowledge of what that looks like from the buyer's agent's perspective. So we clicked on offers to the left of the page. As you can see, this link up here at the top, this entire link all the way down to new. You copy that, and this is what you're going to put into Bright MLS. But for the sake of our training today, I'm going to paste that into WhatsApp because I want you guys to actually follow it. So if you follow that along, it'll take you less than 2 minutes to actually submit an offer. Now, maybe I will go to, wondering if I should have you to do it on this one, or give me another one. Let's give me a different listing. Give me a different one. Give me a transaction, because I want everybody to get that firsthand knowledge of how to submit it. Let's see. Let's do right here. I'm going to open this one and I'm going to have you guys, because this one is for the sake of our training. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it into WhatsApp. And in WhatsApp, I'm going to have you guys to go and simply click on it so you can see firsthand what that looks like. Does anybody have any questions thus far?
No.
All right. It's simpler than you think, Marcus, but of course, hands-on experience is the best teacher. So I'm going to have us do just that, because we're going to copy this link. And when we copy this link is going to take us to the page that we need to actually upload the offer. You're going to be able to get the information that you need, put the information that you need inside, go from there. Okay, I just shot it over to you guys in WhatsApp. So if you go directly to WhatsApp and click on the link that I just sent over to you, it's going to walk you through it. And what I'm going to do on here is I'm going to open this up for us. Forgive me, I'm trying to move this from the top of my screen. All right, so I'm going to copy to clipboard. Okay, so I've just copied this link on my screen. So as you can see, it opens up a field where we can submit our offer. So I'm going to say my offer price is $550. Earnest money, 10,000. Loan type, conventional. Okay, contingencies, none, qualified. How are you guys doing with the link?
Good.
Okay, good. And you're going to see this real time. So once you actually submit it, I'm going to refresh this browser and we're going to see all of the offers that you guys have submitted. And of course, this is shorthand. So let's see here. Buyer's name. Let's see, Rachel, you're going to be our buyer for today. Any questions thus far with what you guys are doing? All right, so right here where it says upload document, I'm simply going to choose any document. And of course, this is not an offer, but for the sake of completing the activity, I want us to all see how simple it is. So I have typed in all the information. So the offer information, earnest money deposit, loan type, lender, contingencies, checked off on that box for pre-qualification, put notes in there, put the buyer's representatives information in there, buyer's name, and I've uploaded the offer. So now I'm simply going to click on submit. So this is what the agents are going to see. So if you're on the listing side and you have a listing that buyer's agents are submitting offers on, this is what they're going to see. So they're going to receive this confirmation that says, thank you, your offer has been submitted. Okay. And they'll be able to click this link. They'll be able to save this link so that they can see their specific offer details. So pay attention to that link and make sure that you advise people to pay attention to it when you're on the listing side, and when you're on the purchasing side, pay attention to it as well, because all of the updates and everything, they have a direct connection to them. All right. And they can go back and they can review their offer details. And if there are any amendments and they want to upload any additional documents, they can do so right here. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this field and I'm going to actually go back to the listing side. Now let's refresh this browser and see how many offers we've received. Have one offer thus far. All right, I need a couple more offers. Who's almost there with submitting their offer?
So I have, thank you, your offer has been submitted, but I don't see it on the screen.
Okay, it takes a few minutes.
Okay.
Up there. Let me make sure.
Oh, and I see. Okay, so now I see the detail, the link that you're supposed to be able to click on. Can you use this to submit an offer to somebody else who's not, we have Brokermint. Can you submit it to somebody who doesn't?
Of course, yes. So not that link, but you can use Brokermint to submit an offer to anybody.
Okay, all right. So we wouldn't have a link like that. We would just submit to wherever they said.
Yes,
Mhm.
yep. You got it. Let's see which one this is. This is for, okay, you know what? I'm in a different one. So we have two. I'm in Pringle Street. The other one is Pringle Family. Let me go right here because this is the one that we would have received those on. Okay, I received the offer that you submitted, D.
Bruce Pipper. That's
All right.
interesting. That's not what I wrote, but okay.
Have one right here. So let's see. So all the information for the offer that you just submitted. You have an earnest money deposit of $20,000, conventional loan type, Michael Cooper, no contingencies, pre-qualified. D at Porterhouse, the buyer is Bruce Pip Richardson. Your offer is right there. Okay, we have another offer right here for 1.2. All right, go ahead, Aurelia. You're gonna
Oh
get
my
that house.
Wow.
Earnest money deposit of $120,000. That's a serious buyer. We can close tomorrow. Let's go. Lender Ameris. All right, so you have all the information over here. So you see what this looks like from the listing side as well as the buying side, okay? I want to make sure we all have that experience because you're going to have agents who may call you or you'll need to call in order to find out where you are in the process or to help them through the process. So I think it's very important that we all do this as, a test so you know exactly what that's going to look like and you're able to help any colleagues. All right. Does anybody have any questions? And for you, Marcus, all right, great. They're rolling in. Rolling in. I see
No, not
Teddy
yet.
Pendergrass. Oh, wow, I see Rowan. We're going to go there first because that's the beautiful new baby. That's Tamika's gorgeous little baby boy. All right. I don't know, Aurelia. I think we might have to give the offer to Rowan. You can't turn down a newborn. All right, Teddy
That's right.
Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass. There you go. I see you, Archella. All right, your offer document right there. Perfect. All right. In terms of ease of use in submitting these offers, what are your guys' thoughts?
Very easy process.
Perfect. Okay.
Very simple, very intuitive too, because you just answer the questions and that's it.
Yeah, that was simple.
And that's what it looks like. So on the buying side, as the buyers are submitting offers to you guys, all right, Bob, 900,000, Bob buyer. I don't know about that $1,000 earnest money deposit, Bob, but that $900,000 purchase price is good.
Just love that we don't have to go back and forth through email to submit offers. Like this is like really fast and convenient.
There you go.
One-stop shop.
You got it. All right, so then let's go ahead and respond to one of these offers, okay? So you guys that have submitted offers, you have a link that you're going to receive all the updates and everything to. So let's try that out because we learned within the last couple weeks how to use this amendments/counter offers section, and Brokermint will keep a record for you of all the communication that you do through the platform using this section. So we want to say something to this agent, offer received. Okay, and I want you to look on your end to see how that comes through to you, okay? So we're gonna submit that to you guys and take a look to see what that communication or how that communication comes over. So you know exactly what to expect. All right, and anything, say by chance, someone submitting an offer on your listing and you say, okay, well, you missed a couple of disclosures, you can click right here where it says attach document, and you can attach the document that you want them to sign and resend. Okay, so you can send that right on over to them there. So I've responded to them through the system. Okay, so if I needed to send them a direct email, I could do the same thing. So let's go here and I will email this agent, offer received. Okay, and I'm just going to paste that same information and send it on over to them. So you guys that are on the receiving end, I want you to see exactly what this looks like. So you can open up that link that you have and just verify. Now, I know that, you know how it is with each of these systems. It may take a few moments or so before it'll come over, but let's just play with it a little bit and see what that turnaround time is when you're going to receive that. So you know exactly what you're doing from the system. You're doing everything in one place. You can email, you can amend, you can counter, and everything from right here. Okay. So while you guys are
Receive.
refreshing your browsers to receive that information,
I
mark it.
did receive it.
Okay, so let's find it. So if you didn't receive it, let's find it.
I said I did receive it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Excellent. Now, where did it come to?
Came into my email.
Email.
Excellent. All right. All right,
And,
Jane.
then- and in the email, it has a reply. So I can reply to that email.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, so let's go down and reply to these next people because you're going to receive offers and it's extremely important that we communicate with everybody. So the seller may take a few days to respond in terms of an acceptance or decline, especially if you have an offer deadline. But it's important for us with regards to just being professional that we're responding to the agents who submitted offers. You don't have an offer as to whether or not an answer as to whether or not their offer was accepted as of yet, but you do want to communicate with them, let them know their offer is received. And once this, if you're in receipt of multiple offers like we are, my next message to them is going to be, we're in a multiple offer situation. Please submit your highest and best. I am just tongue-tied today. Submit your buyer's highest and best and let them know what the cutoff date is going to be, okay? And then after that, you respond to them again, but keeping everything right here in the system. That way you don't have to field through emails to figure out what your communication was, who it was with, and what the offer was, what the property information was. It's right here for you.
Mrs. Porter, I have a question.
All right.
When you're talking about the multiple offer, you're having multiple offers, is there any way that you can send a mass email to everybody, or you have to still do it individually? So you just have to copy and paste the box. Okay, got it.
Let's see, let's do this. Let's click on each one of these and let's see if it will allow us to send a mass email. So let's see, click on all of these and go to email. Okay. I'm going to copy that just in case it doesn't go to everybody. Okay. But as of now, I just sent that message out. So you guys refresh your browsers and you let me know if that message came over to everybody. Now, while we're waiting on that, Marcus, you were the one that took us down this path. Have your questions been answered thus far with doing this hands-on?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Does anybody else have any questions about anything that we've done thus far?
What if we need to get our buyer to sign the documents? Do you sign them in here too?
That is an excellent question too. Thank you for asking that. All right, Before, we're gonna go to that next, but I wanna make sure that everybody's comfortable with where we are now, and then we'll
Okay.
move on, okay? All right, so for those that I just sent that email to, we were testing to see if we could send it to everybody at one time or if it has to be individual. Did you guys receive an email?
Haven't received it yet.
No.
Okay, so then that it appears that we may have to send it one at a time. Let's see. But you see how easy that is because I click there and I'm simply pasting that information, pasting it there, and sending that email.
I received the first one, Jasmine.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Excellent. So I'm wondering if, and I won't guess. I'll wait a few more moments to see if anybody else received that first one. And if not, there are a couple things to consider. But now if you refresh your browsers, everybody should get that one. Now it's about 30 seconds to reply to these multiple offers that we have. And you send that email from right there. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that thus far?
I have not received anything except the one that came from the system and the first one that came from you.
Okay,
Yeah, me
refresh your
too.
browser. You guys, if you refresh it, you should receive this last one that I just sent individually. So what we wanted to see is if we could email everybody at the same time. Tamika asked that great question. And I wasn't sure if we could. I know you send them individually, but I wanted to try to click and, put a check in the box beside everybody to see if we could do that. Oh, well, there it
I
is.
did.
Look, we just found something. Let's try this now. So what I did before was I clicked on the box over here to the right and chose email. So that may have only sent it to the person whose information was highlighted. But now I just clicked on selected. And now you see this option right here. This is email selected. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this to everybody.
Oh, and then it comes up 7 buyers. Okay.
There you go. So now I just checked that and I selected all 7. And then the box at the top, it was highlighted and I chose email selected. So now let's see if that comes through to everybody. I'm gonna refresh
Like
this
that.
and you guys refresh your browser a couple times.
I got mine through email.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's
I got
exactly
mine
how
through
it
email
comes.
too.
Excellent. So now
Yep.
we see how to email everybody at the same time. And thank you for asking that question, Marcus, because now that cut down on time. I didn't have to send it to people individually.
I do what I can.
Thank you for that question, Marcus. You can come on past the office and grab some snacks or something. That was great contribution. All right, perfect. Are we all clear with this part before we move on?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. All right, so then your next question, Marcus, and you are on a roll today, was with regards to buying. Can you submit documents on the buying side, okay? And this is perfect because there are no documents that are here as of yet. And the answer to that question is yes, definitely. And that's what this is intended to do. So now we just looked at it from the listing side and you looked at offers. But now from the buying side, we're going to look at the checklist here because everything you're going to do from the buying side is going to be through your checklist. The same thing on the listing when you're preparing your documents and everything, it's going to be through your checklist as well. So when you come into your transactions, you're going to pay attention to the section that says checklist. And when you click on that, that's how you do it. And again, apologies. I just thought about it. That was Damika who asked the question about sending multiple emails. So Marcus, you come get some snacks, and Damika, you too. I don't want to leave you out there. That was a great question. Thank you for asking that. We figured it out together as a group. All right. So on the buying side, if you want to prepare an offer, there are a number of different steps here, but we're going to skip right down to write a great offer. You guys see right here on the right-hand side of that tab where it says use forms. You click on that. And as you can see, there are some documents that are your boilerplate documents that are already there. And then there will be some contract specific or property specific documents that you'll add to it. But let's just go through here for the sake of this activity. If we wanted to choose to use these documents until you get disclosures and everything else to add to it, you simply go to next. Now, see, we have Darlene as the buyer number 1, and we can go ahead and have Anthony as the buyer number 2, the buyer's agent. Tamika, you're going to be our buyer's agent. Okay. Listing agent. Is Anita with us today? I won't surprise her. Aurelia, I know you're here. All right. And then our seller. Seller 2. All right. So you guys are going to be our signers on the document, okay? Now, pay attention to this part because this is just for training purposes. When you are preparing an offer for the buyer to sign, you are only going to utilize the fields that represent the party that you represent in the transaction. So as the buyer's agent, you'll include the signing information for your buyer, yourself, and that's about it, okay? So the buyer, if there are 2 buyers, 1 buyer in addition to your own, you will not send this over to the sellers to sign off on, so you don't have to worry about that, okay? You can, however, send it over for the listing agent to sign on in the event that there's a field for them to sign, okay? So don't be off put because if there's anybody you don't represent, you see this X over on the right, you're simply going to click to remove it, okay? So if I just did this for now, if I said, okay, just remove one of them, seller number 2, I can remove that seller and it's going to verify that I want to delete that person. So anybody that you're actually not capturing signatures from, hit the X and delete them, okay? Now you're going to go to next. All right, so now, as you can see, Brokermint is preparing your documents for you. All right, so we're working with the buyers, salesperson. Who do we have as the salesperson? Does anybody remember who our buyer's agent was? If not, then
It should pop up when you click on the fill now.
buyer agent, but that's going to let them fill it in. So what this is going to do is it's going to send this over to the buyer agent and allow them to fill their name in there. But I want to go ahead and type it in for now. So we have, who did I have as the buyer's agent? I'm just going to put this in there for now, okay? But no worries, you guys can always update and edit this as you need to. I just want you to see what the system is going to do for you. So as you can see, your information is there. This is already assigned to buyer number 1, already assigned to buyer number 2, and so forth and so on. And as you go down to your contract, be sure to add the date because it's going to pull the information. Sometimes the date doesn't always come over, and you're going to select the fields that the system won't know to populate. So whether or not it's fee simple and all the other pertinent information you're going to add to it, and you simply type it right in there. Okay, so I'm typing PHIRG just for our training. You guys would type it out. Okay, conventional. Put this in here. 21 days. I'm going to fill it now. So if I double click that, it'll open it up for me and allow me to fill it now. My buyer is going to get there. They're going to go ahead and go speak with the lender within 3 days. I'm going to go ahead and type that there. Now I'm only going to do a couple more sections because then we're going to send it for signatures. Okay. Want you to see exactly what this looks like. You already see the buyer's initials there. Now, this is a very important thing to pay attention to. It's going to populate your buyers into every space that says buyers, and likewise for sellers. But there's some places that do not apply. So when you see something that does not apply, what you're going to do is you simply hover over it and delete it. Click on it and delete it. Okay. All right. Seller's information there. Buyer, buyer, buyer. Scroll on down, and of course, you're going to fill in that information that we're going past for the sake of training to make sure that everything pertinent to your contract is there. Signatures are there. Initial fields are there. Okay, you're going to fill in the information for your brokerage and the other brokerage. Make sure that your documents are dated. Okay, put in the information for the loan. Right?
Jasmine,
Yes.
I'm having problems seeing your screen.
Is anybody else having problems seeing my screen?
No.
No.
No, I
No.
can see.
At
Okay,
first I was, but then I'm on my phone, so I flipped it and it worked.
okay. Angela, I'm not sure.
Patricia,
what-
Patricia Lancaster, some messages came over saying she's having a problem.
I am not sure if that's a connectivity thing.
And I'm on my phone too.
Okay. It could be the area or connectivity there. Mr. Porter, do you have any ideas as to what to do?
Not at all. Maybe try to turn it sideways sometimes, you get a better image. I don't know. But I can see clearly. Don't know.
It could be connectivity. So try to turn it to the side and try to make sure that you're on a strong network.
So I tried that and I thought I was the only one having issues. And then I saw that message come over from Patricia and I thought, oh, it's not just me. So I decided to say something. So
I
you can
appreciate
go ahead
that.
and continue. Okay.
Not a problem. So here's what I'll do. I will try to stop the share and reshare just in case that'll help. All right.
Angela, is your phone plugged into your charger?
No, it's not.
Okay. Because I know
But
if
I've
you
been
plug,
able to see everything up until a moment ago. So if it's my connection, you guys can go and continue. I was just speaking on behalf of Patricia. So
I
and myself.
appreciate it because we don't want to
All right.
leave anybody out. Thank you for that. I just stopped
Sure.
the share and I reshared it just now, just in case that'll help you guys with the connectivity. All right. So can everybody else still see everything?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you see how we've updated those documents? Now pay attention to the top because you see on the right-hand side, you're going to see save and close, and you're going to be tempted to save it and close it, but that's actually not what you want to do. You want to click this drop-down arrow and you want to send this for signatures. Okay. So now it's going to send everything. Oh, that was our buyer's agent, Tamika Brain. All right. So you're going to send this on over for everybody to sign. So you click the drop-down arrow, send for signatures, and you're going to send it. Okay. So now it's going to save this document and it's going to send it over to everybody that I just included. So I want you guys to pay attention to your email because I want you to go through and sign off on it so you know exactly what that experience is like on the other side. And that's how you submit offers for your buyer. That's how you're going to upload any documents that you have and send them right over directly from the system. Does anybody have any questions about anything we've done so far?
Hey, Des, I have a question.
Sure.
So with the preset documents in the, write a great offer,
Mhm.
initially, it pulls up and you see all the itemized documents.
Mhm.
How do we get back to that if we needed to add a document?
That is a great question. Thank you for asking that. So let's click on this again. You see where it says write a great offer? Let's see. This one may have me too. So here's the thing. While it's awaiting signatures, if I wanted to update it, then I would have to restart the e-sign process. So it's better to allow for the signatures to be captured and then grab the additional documents and send those over as well, so that it'll release the button that says edit/e-sign, because it's kind of in a waiting pattern just for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to one of these other fields where it says upload. So let's look right here at the agency docs, because in here, these documents are going to be pre-populated for you as well. And I want to give a disclaimer. This is a loop that we created for training, or this is a transaction that we created for training probably 3 weeks or so ago. That being said, there have been a number of updates and enhancements that have been done to your checklists since then. So because this one was created about 3 weeks or so ago, this one does not include all of the current enhancements that you have. So you guys on your offers, you're going to see your offer synopsis, you're going to see your agent letter, you're going to see all the things that you would normally see in your former dot loop template. Okay, so this one is not the most up-to-date one. Okay, that being said, as you can see the documents that are included, if you wanted to add anything else, you see at the bottom where it says step 1 of 3, and you see on the right where it has an X to delete any of these documents you don't need. You also see where it says add more forms or attach a document, okay? You always need to be in step 1 of 3 in order to add more forms or attach a document. If you go past step 1 of 3, there's going to be a button. Let's just say we go to next for now. Okay, if we go to next, that's where it's going to start having you to assign the signers for this process. But you see this button at the bottom of the screen that says back. That's what you'll need to hit, because when you come in through the documents in a transaction that's already ongoing, it's likely going to start you out where it says step 2 of 3. And that's totally fine. You simply click on this button that says back so that you go to step 1. And step 1 is where you add forms or attach documents. Okay. So let's go to add forms. Let's say by chance you wanted to add anything that's in our company Brokermint library. You have a wealth of forms that are over here on the left-hand side. Those forms, however, are PDF forms. Those forms, you'll simply add what you need in terms of text boxes and dates and so forth and so on. When you enter your NERDS ID, you're going to get access to your Maryland Realtors forms. If you have your Virginia forms or whatever forms you have, you'll be able to access them with your NERDS ID. So we're just going to go through this as an exercise. You click on Maryland Realtors. If you want to add additional documents, let's just say by chance we uploaded. Choose a document that you guys want to add. All right,
There
so
you go. FHA financing addendum.
there you go. So we're going to do those 2 for now, okay? And then we'll also include gift funds too. Why not, right? Okay, so we're going to select those 7. So now you've added more addendum to your template that was already there. And that's something that's going to be very simple and user-friendly. You're going to add those addenda because, again, they're going to be some property specific, some county specific, some transaction specific documents that you will need to add. Now, if by chance it's something that has not been provided by Brokermint in that library, you simply go to attach document, okay? And if it's something that you have downloaded on your computer, you can click right here. Let's see. Okay, if I want to click on there, any of the PDF that I download to my computer, I simply go to attach document, and that's how I'm going to add it. Okay, so now I'm going to go to next, like I did previously, and these are the signers. And as you can see, I don't have a seller for seller number 2, so I'm simply going to remove that person. Yes, I want to delete that person, right? So then click on next again. And it's going to do the same thing. It's going to prepare these documents for me. It's going to prepare them. And as it prepares it, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to scrub it to make sure that everything that's there, everything is there that needs to be there. Okay. So everything that I have added should still be there, as you can see. Okay. And if you see like the date is missing, you're going to go ahead and add that. But that's normal because you're just going to scroll through your document and make sure to add everything that's pertinent, right? So now what we're going to do is we're simply going to send it for signatures like we did the last time, okay? Now, for those of you who have received these documents, refresh your browser, open it up and sign off on it because I want you guys to experience what that's like on the other side, okay? Does anybody have any questions thus far?
I do.
Catherine, this is Aurelia. I have one question.
All
And
right.
you said I mean, what if we're not ready to send the documents for signature yet? Can we just hit the save and close in that
That's
case
exactly what
and
you
go
do.
back?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what you do. So when you're ready for your signatures, you're going to send it over. Now, the good thing is that when you send it off for signatures, unlike Dotloop, it allows you to keep the information that you've already captured. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you've gotten, 40 documents signed and you only need another 2 documents signed and you have to send it back, it's not going to delete those signatures. Now, anything you add that's new, you will have to get a new signature on it, but it's going to protect the signatures that you've already gathered. So that will save you a whole lot of time from having to download and re-upload and potentially losing initials and signatures like we've had to do with Dotloop, okay? All right. Does anybody have any other questions about that?
I have a question about the forms.
Sure.
So I know that in Dotloop, there would be it would only be forms for PG County. And then we'd have to go to, what was it, zip form or something like that to go download documents for Montgomery County or for anywhere else in Maryland and sometimes possibly DC. Are all the forms in Brokermint?
That is an excellent question, and thank you for asking that. So Brokermint gives us specific forms, right? In our company library, I've uploaded quite a number of forms from various places, but it's not all encompassing. So in the event that you need to find any of your other Maryland forms, you always have access to mdrealtor.org. And this is exactly what you do. You go straight to mdrealtor.org. You see right there on the legal, you see, go under legal, click there, and then you're going to go to your board forms. And I actually didn't have to click it all the way, but you see, let's see, statewide forms, local board forms. Click on your local board forms, okay? Load that, okay? So now, as you can see, all of your counties are here. So what does this look like from the Dotloop? Well, not my apologies, the Brokermint perspective. So now when you have a Howard County transaction, you simply click there. If you want to include, let's see, which one do you want to include? Let's include the addendum, the Howard County addendum, okay? So I'm just going to download that. As you can see, go straight back to where I was, okay? Now, if that's within my great offer, okay? Because I'm waiting on signatures, I'm going to have to click on restart the e-sign, and I want it to keep any signatures that I've already gotten, okay? Now pay attention to right here because it starts us out at step 2. I'm going to go back to step 1, which is where I need to be in order for me to add a document. I'm going to add the document, and as you can see, my Howard County document is there. Now I can go to next, and then you simply do the same thing again. So you're going to add your signers, go to next, and then you prepare your document. But this is very important because it showed me 2 things. All the documents that I had there before, as you can see, it merged them into one file. So you no longer have multiple documents there for the very first one. So it's merged them into one file. And then for the Howard County document that I can see, it's going to be at the bottom right here, unless I would have moved it to the top. And you're in absolute control of that. You can determine where you want your documents to be. Okay. So for this one, I would simply click date here, and that part right there on the corner is where I want it to go. If I want to do a text box, what I do is I click on it once, and everywhere that I want the box to go, I'm simply going to click on it again. Okay. And it's going to take that text box wherever I want it. Now, if I want to move this around a little bit, if I want to stretch it out a little bit, I can do that. Okay. But I no longer have to click on text box every time I want to add a text box. I click on it once, locate it where I want it to be. And the good thing is that it's not going to put those lines that used to be there to signify that there's an actual box. Okay. I'm going to click on initial where I want that to be an initial. And I make that the size I want it to be. And once I make it the size I want it to be, I click on initial again. And it's going to be right there for me. Okay. And because I've assigned the buyer, these are automatically assigning these to whoever I put in there. Now, we're not putting them in the places that are the applicable places, but for the sake of our training, I want you to see just how user-friendly this is, okay? So I'm gonna put this right here. Seller here, seller there, and then signature, seller. See? All right, now I'm gonna send this for signature. All right, now quite naturally, what I'll need to do, of course, because I put this information in there, I'm gonna fill in my text boxes. All right, so you're gonna fill in your text box as you see, whatever you wanna put. Let's see, your seller, Darlene Bridges, and my buyer, who's my buyer?
Hmm.
Okay,
Don't remember.
property, 123 Main Street, okay? And you would type in all of that information, but that's how user-friendly it is. Now that document has the pertinent information, initial fields, and so forth and so on. If I need to do a checkbox, here it is. If I need to do dollar signs, there it is. Strike through, everything I need is right there, okay? So I can either save it and close it if I need to come back to that document, or if I want to send it for signatures, remember that drop-down arrow on the right of save and close. That's how I send it for signatures. Okay, does anybody have any questions about that?
Yes, this is Aurelia. This leads me to another question about the other two states. If you have the DC and Virginia, do you have to be, I think I checked into this, where you have to be a part of the board to get their forms as well. Is there any other way to gain access other than that? Otherwise, you're paying 3 different board fees.
So there's absolutely another way, and you just pay for the forms. So currently with zip forms, I pay for all boards as anyway, because that's Maryland, DC, and Virginia licensing. But if I click on zip forms there, in my zip forms, it's going to open up and I have all of my various documents for, of course, the boards that I'm members of. Let's skip this for now. And then for all of my other states as well, they're all located right here. Okay, so if I wanted to, anything that you wanted to do in terms of your forms, you have access to them either in zip forms, because that comes with your board dues, or in mdrealtor.com, which also comes with your board dues, but all of your documents are right there. So all of my Northern Virginia documents are here. All of the documents that I pay for. So you don't have to be a member of the board in order to pay to license those documents. Okay.
Great, thanks.
You got it. All right. Now, how easy was that?
Oh,
Very easy.
Very easy.
Good, good, good. Did you guys get emails?
Very
yeah.
easy.
So the transaction participants,
Oh,
you guys are spending some money today. Did you sign off on this offer? Time is of the essence. This market is volatile. This market is competitive. I need to get this offer back. You signed off on this offer yet? Okay, so for those of you who received that offer, we're going to refresh this and we're going to take a look to see whose signatures we've received thus far. Here we are. It's up. Here we
I
go.
think it depends on what you listed us as.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, because the signing order will take effect. All right, so let's take a look and let's see. It appears as if we should have our signatures, but we can just take a look at the document. And let's see if it's going to show me any of the signatures just yet. All right, somebody needs to sign off on that. Come on now, time is of the essence. But don't worry, because as soon as those documents are signed off on, you'll get them back. And just like Aurelia said, there is a signing order. So when you assign the order, that should entail that the documents are going to go to those signers in order. So what we're going to have to take a look and see is if it sends it to everybody simultaneously, or if you have to wait to sign until the person who was in front of you receives it. So I wanted to do that as a test today.
Yes. I think you have to wait. If you assign that order,
Mhm.
then it won't prompt you to sign until that person has actually signed off on whatever, so there is an order.
Yeah, that was my experience last evening.
Perfect. So then we know that. So whoever our first person was on that list, we're waiting on you to sign. Okay, so no worries, but at least you guys can see exactly what that's going to look like from both the listing as well as the purchasing side. So there's one more thing that I wanted to go over one more time before we end our training for today. So as you're merging your documents from Dotloop to Brokermint, you see how we've talked about how you're adding documents. You would simply be creating a transaction. So let's go back and let me move this out of the way so I can see. All right, so we're going to go to create transaction. And as I'm creating a transaction, just like we did in Dotloop, you're using the clients. If it's a buyer client, you only have their name, right? You don't know the property address just yet. So our buyer. Okay, so Miss Patricia Lancaster, put you here, Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and your purchase price. All right, that's your purchase price in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And we're going to use today's date because today is the date that we're creating this file. All right, so now we're going to go to next. You're representing the buying side, right? So you're buying commission, 3% there. We're going to add the agent. Your agent is Curtis Price. All right, and we're going to go to next. So next, add your contact. Who's your buyer? My buyer. Okay, Pat Lancaster. All right. Contact, buyer's agent. Curtis Price. All right, so now I have created a transaction. Remember, the very first step we do after we create the transaction, who remembers what the very first thing you need to do is?
Add your checklist.
Yeah, develop the
Exactly
checklist.
it. All right, so which checklist do we need?
Buying.
Maryland buying.
There you go. All right, so we're going to do Maryland buying, and we're going to go ahead and add that checklist. All right, now because there's some documents that you may already have because you don't have a ratified contract just yet, but you have a buyer brokerage agreement and any other pertinent document, you're simply going to go to, let's see, where are we? If you have your signed agency, you're going to click on here where it says use forms, and you're simply going to, if you already have your forms, you're going to download them from Brokermint, and you're simply going to click on them, add them here. All right, and then you're simply going to delete these ones that are here. Okay, because you already have it signed off on, and you go to next. You don't need it signed just yet because the document's already signed. Now you've officially transferred that document from Dotloop to Brokermint. So you're simply going to go to save and close. All right. So that's how you're going to transfer files that you've already gotten signatures on. Now, that being said, it's totally fine to get freshly updated documents. So if there's anything that you say, well, I haven't accessed it, or whatever the case is, it is totally acceptable to get fresh documents, and it's good to do so anyway, especially when you're working with the buyer. If it's been competitive and it's been a couple months, just go ahead and shoot them those documents and get a fresh buyer brokerage agreement and some fresh documents signed, okay? But I just wanted you guys to see how to just create the transaction afresh from those that you have in Dotloop that you're merging over, and how to use forms to go back and to add those documents that you already have. Does anybody have any questions about that?
No, but I did want to ask, if let's say it's transactions from like a few months ago or something that's already closed, is it necessary for us to bring those documents over from Dotloop just so that we can have that in our files? Or I know we send everything to you guys through Brokermint before we fully transition over to Brokermint. You guys already have that. So do we just leave it the way that it is, or should we still bring those files, save those files to our computer and bring it over to Brokermint?
That is an excellent question, and thank you for asking that. If it is something that's already closed and you've already uploaded all the information into Brokermint, because you have to do that in order to be compliant and to get paid, right? So if you've already done that, there's no need to create two files for the exact same documents. We just want to make sure that we're compliant and we have everything that we're supposed to have. Now, if there's something by chance that you haven't, it's from a couple months ago or last year, and you have not yet turned it into the office, then you absolutely want to go ahead and send that on over to us, okay?
Okay, thank you.
But can I just chime in, Jasmine? If we close your transaction, Rachel, all your documents had to be in there because I wouldn't
Yes.
close it. Yeah. Once we
Okay.
review everything, that's the only way we can cut your check is if everything's in there. And many of you know I'll harass you for a signed alter or any other documents. So as long as those documents in there, you should be good. I don't want you guys to be over anxious about deals that are already closed. We just want to, any deals that you're working on currently, just get your documents transferred and migrated over. If you got a new transaction starting, do not use that.
So
Okay.
if you have clients who have not been active, can you just upload them into Brokermint when they become active again?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then we would just start from scratch with new documents like Ms. Jasmine was just saying.
You sure
That,
can.
that would be the best thing to do, guys, because again, it's just documents. If they've signed them, they might be stale anyway. You want to have the freshest dates and most updated agreements that you possibly can. One of the things that I do with all my buyers is every time I submit a new offer, say for instance, the first offer didn't go through, when I submit a new offer, I'm gonna get updated agency documents for them so that the dates start over. So that's just one of the practices that I put in place years ago. When I send over the documents for them to sign, I send over everything.
That's a really good practice. Thank you for asking that question, Rachel.
A quick question, Shay. Will you make a complete new Brokermint like account for that buyer?
If that buyer is still active and you haven't done anything, yes, I'm about to make a complete, because again, you want to make sure that everything is new in Brokermint. You want to make sure that if you had that client in dot loop and say, for instance, they got a little frustrated with the COVID market and now they're ready to come back, then just start a new file for them at Brokermint, have them sign everything all over again and get them, reactivated through Brokermint, let them know this is a brand new system. Very, very similar to the old system, but it should be a lot easier for them.
Well, no, I was referring to, like, you wrote an offer, the offer wasn't accepted, and now you're going to create like a new offer. Do you create like an entirely new?
You would have to do that. Yeah, you would have to do that even if it was in data. So yes, do it in Brokermint.
Yeah, well, I mean, even in Brokermint. So I have a client in Brokermint. I wrote an offer, it wasn't accepted. We're out looking again, about to write another offer. Basically, I need to create another Brokermint.
No,
Yeah, that's
so
about,
that's
what I'm talking about.
No, that's the great thing about Brokermint. You can update the address and just delete the old checklist and put a new checklist in. Yeah.
Well, looky there.
So you go up, if you can see it, I think on Jasmine's screen. Let's see where Jasmine is. Yeah. If you go up to actions, Jasmine,
Uh-huh.
and hit a drop down.
You said actions, drop down. Mhm.
Let me see where I need you.
The rename checklist.
Delete checklist. You can delete that whole checklist.
Void the
You can
checklist.
void the checklist. Yeah, or and I would delete it because it's a whole new transaction.
Offer. Right.
Yeah, it's a whole new offer. So I would just delete the checklist and put a new checklist in there. And then you go back to edit over in the column right next to where it says listing, you hit edit. Hit that for me, Jasmine.
Okay, where it says
Edit
where?
over in the black column on to the left.
By
Gotcha.
list, yeah.
Yeah. And then you just you want to edit, hit edit, and then you just change the address and everything. And then and then when you put the new checklist, everything will be brand new.
Okay. That's what I was, cool. Excellent.
Now, that was an excellent point to make anyway, and thanks to both of you for that, because Remember when we started out, we're using the client's name as a placeholder and we're simply putting in, you know, the offices, you know, city, state, and zip code. That's a placeholder. Now, just like Mr. Porter said, when you actually find a property that you want to write an offer on, you're going to update that because now you actually have a property address. Okay. So you want to go ahead in there and you want to update that to 123 Main Street. Click on edit, just like we just did, and be sure that the offer that you're submitting, you have updated that transaction to include that information so that in your documents, this address will populate into all of your documents, opposed to Patricia Lancaster of Marlboro populating as the address in the documents. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So for clarification, guys, I just want to make sure I'm very specific. In dot loop, you had to create a new transaction every time. Do not create a new transaction for the same buyer client if their offer is not accepted. Just edit the same transaction and put a new checklist in there and start from there. You don't have to do, you know, a brand new dot loop and all of that. You just use the exact same transaction, different checklist.
Yep. And you can actually delete your checklist. I'm not sure if you said that.
Yeah, delete it. You can delete it, you can void it, you can rename it, but I don't want you to rename it because it doesn't help the client. It's a brand new offer on a different property. So you just put the new property address in there and add a brand new checklist and then give them new documents.
There you go. So
And do
delete
not
your
create-
former checklist and
Yeah.
add a new checklist for
But
a new
do-
offer on a new property.
Right, but do not create a new transaction. One transaction per buyer. That's all you need.
There you go.
Unless they're buying multiple properties.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or unless they're buying and they're selling. So for the transaction type, all right? You guys have been phenomenal today. We are a little bit over time, but I don't want to go without answering your questions because this is an exciting transition and it's about to take effect on Saturday. So does anybody have any other questions or anything they'd like to add before we end today?
I just want to say one thing real quick, Jasmine. You just brought up something I wanted to make mention of. If we have dual agency, meaning that the buyer is represented by Porterhouse and the seller is represented by Porterhouse, the only person that needs to create a transaction is the seller. And then you add a buying checklist and share it with the Porterhouse agent who's on the buying side. We'll probably have to go through that, Jasmine, as an example, so that they can see how that works. And then you can share that transaction with another Porterhouse agent, and then y'all have one transaction for both of your buyer and your seller.
Perfect. All right. Does anybody have any other questions or comments or anything before we end for today?
I just wanted to say for good and welfare, I have a ratified contract.
Congratulations.
Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Dee.
Congratulations, Dee. And Dee has 27 offers on her listing, 27 offers, ratified contract, lots of competition there. So that's excellent.
A quick question or quick addition with the listing documents.
Mhm.
Will you guys be putting in so the first document that you would see would be the how to upload into Brokermint for the buying agents?
So that is not in the listing documents as of yet. Let's talk about it, because if we need to add that, I'm happy to. That is included in your Brokermint library as instructions that will go with your Bright MLS disclosures.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
That's why I was having issues finding where I could go back to add a document into that checklist.
Mhm.
So I ended up just zipping back to dot loop and just adding it to the top of the disclosures so it flowed better. And then I just uploaded that into the MLS because I couldn't figure out how to add another document into the list of those documents.
Gotcha. Now,
If I'm making sense.
I think so. If I'm understanding you correctly, you can upload all of your disclosures here with these documents and arrange them in order. So you can arrange them in order and then download one concise file in the order that you want it to appear in Bright MLS. So you're not uploading multiples.
Okay. You have to figure that because I'm very particular about how my documents flow. So I want,
I appreciate that.
I like it to, I don't know, I'm just very, it needs to be like this. So I just couldn't figure it out in the last minute. I was like, all right, I know how to do it in .loop. So let me break the document apart. Let me take this out, put this together. Okay, it looks pretty how I want it to look. Okay, now I'll just go ahead and upload this. But I knew there was a way, in
There
here.
is.
Yeah, and so now I see how. But I was just wondering if we were going to just make that a part of the listing documents, that is the first thing, is how to upload, your offer into Brokermint. Because that's kind of how I start the listing documents off, is those two, and then the understanding whom, and all the listing disclosures.
I'm happy to add that as a part of the listing disclosures. I'll add it for
Okay.
you. But just so you see, remember I was talking about the updates that have been made in the last couple of weeks. So now you see what the new template looks like. And forgive me, I didn't want to go into more information because I want to let you guys go. But really quickly here, as you can see, this is a new buyer transaction that we just did. And as you see this checklist or these documents, there are a number of additional documents that you didn't see
Excellent.
in the last transaction, including your synopsis and everything that you have there, down to your please accept our offer. So all of those are there for you. And I'm going to add that to your listing disclosure so that you won't have to go back and do so. Okay.
Okay. All right, cool.
You guys are awesome. Does anybody have any other questions so I can let you go? All right. Well, if all hearts and minds are clear, you guys have a phenomenal rest of the day. We will be back same time, same place next Thursday. This video will be uploaded for you. If you need anything, I'm in the office. We are available. Give us a call. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help you guys. We want to make sure that this transition is seamless for you, okay? I'm going to go ahead and end our recording now, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.